Thank you, and welcome everyone. Hopefully everyone had safe travels here. I am so excited right now to be looking out at a mortgage event and see women. I was speaking to some of you earlier, and most of the time when you go to these mortgage events, you feel like you're the only woman in the room and you stick out like a sore thumb, sorry about that. So I'm very excited to see everyone here today. I just want to tell you a little bit about my story. I started in the mortgage business in 1999, and I started out as a receptionist. Then I moved to a junior processor, and then a processor, sales, and I opened my own brokerage in 2009, June of 2009. So I have always been in the wholesale. I've always been a mortgage broker, and I believe in this channel, and I've had such passion for it. And when AIME came about, I was so excited for the mortgage broker to finally have a positive voice. I was super excited. And what they've done this past year for the mortgage broker is amazing. The technology and the resources they're bringing to us to help us grow our business and really get out there and to recruit people is so exciting, and I'm excited. I knew the mortgage brokers were going to come back. I've been telling my husband that for years, and so we're here, and it's so exciting. So I feel with this Women's Affinity group, it can be where we can lean on each other, we can help each other, we can mentor new ladies that want to get into the business, those of us that are veterans of the business. We can share our stories and network together. That's one of the things that I love about the broker side, the wholesale side, is to be able to network with other people. So I feel, as I'm looking out, I can't wait to hear all of your stories or where you came from or how you got started in it. For those of you also who don't know, we do have a Facebook, and it is the AIME Women's Affinity Group. So if you're not on there, please join. And I'm excited to talk to you guys after our speaker and everything like that. So thank you again for coming, and I'm going to introduce our corporate sponsor, Laura Brandeo with AFR.
You know, Sarah knows that I literally took a day off of work to kind of prepare because I'm so passionate about what you guys are doing. I really am. I mean, I can tell you from this isn't even what I have written down, but I can tell you from a lender perspective, it was probably about, and Sarah can attest to this because she heard it, but it was probably about a little over a year ago, I started saying to my team, there's a shift coming. And everybody said, really? And I said, I'm telling you, the brokers are starting to shift. And you are watching this movement that is coming. And it's a beautiful thing. It really is. Because I started watching people that jumped away from being a broker and went to work for a big bank after the crash. And then all of a sudden they were like, wait a minute, maybe this isn't the best place for me. Maybe it might be a little better if I venture back to the broker side. And it's brought so many wonderful people back into that channel. And I can tell you from a lender perspective, it's been wonderful to watch this and to hear everyone's story. I can tell you that one of the first things I do when we sign up a new client is, tell me your story. I want to hear it. It actually helps me connect with our clients. So it's very important. But now, to go back to this. So anyway, good evening, everyone. Well, I'm so excited to be here at the kickoff event for the AIME Women's Affinity Group. First off, let's hear it, ladies! This is a big day. And I want to thank everyone for joining us. And a special thank you to Anthony Casa, Mark, Kelly, for seeing the vision of this idea of bringing this here and to launch this group. For those of you who didn't hear, my name is Laura Brandeo, and I am honored to be the corporate sponsor for the group. And I promise that I am truly committed to us growing a group that will bring value to all of you. And I look forward to getting to know each and every one of you. And we even have a little segment that's planned after I speak to get to know everyone. So be ready to speak up. Okay, so to give you a little bit of background about me, okay, because like we said, we all have a story, okay? So let me tell you a little bit about my story, okay? All right, keep going, Michael. I'm actually going to skip this for the next. Sorry about that. Oh, yeah. Look at that picture. Hard to believe even which person is me in that picture. Okay. Yeah, I don't even know if you've seen that, Sarah. All right. Well, so to tell you my story, I started in the mortgage business in the 1990s. That picture is not from the 1990s, but I started in the mortgage business in the 90s. And I needed a part-time job because I was a stay-at-home mom. I ran a telemarketing call center where I had hundreds of part-time college students, moonlighters, and stay-at-home moms calling prospects to offer them a lower rate on their mortgages. Well, after a few years, I was really kind of frustrated with the fact that all these deals that we were producing, they weren't closing. So I said, well, we need to do something about that. So I taught myself how to process and underwrite loans. And at the age of 27, I became the first COO of a mid-sized lender, okay? Well, that lesson taught me something that I still follow today. The lesson is when you hit a roadblock, whatever that roadblock may be, you're either going to figure out how to go over it or around it. And that is exactly what I feel all of you are doing at this moment. So in 2005, I made the transition into the wholesale channel, and I fell in love, and there's no going back once you're in that channel. And of course, we do know though, 2005, we know what was coming shortly after that, a few years later. And I was sitting at a lender going, am I going to wind up on that mortgage implode or not? I think we all remember that. So I made a call actually to my IndyMac rep at that time. I said, hey, do you know anywhere that might be safe? Boy, was that a silly question to ask. I don't think anybody knew of a safe place to be in 2007. But she told me one of her clients wanted to start a wholesale division. And I said, I bet I can do that. And so I met with our CEO. Oh, he had a great plan. No salary, no benefits, no team. But hey, Laura, go ahead. It's all yours. I said, okay. And I got in the car, and the first person I called was my husband. And I said, okay, I know we've got a mortgage, and we've got a couple of kids to take care of, but I've got the opportunity to start a wholesale division. Yeah, by the way, there's no salary, there's no team, it's just me. You know, what do you think? And my husband, luckily, after many years, said, oh, you would be silly to not take that opportunity. You should take it. And so, in June 18th of 2007, AFR Wholesale was born. I like to refer it that way because it's my baby. And that baby is a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of ups and downs, and a lot of that referring to our infancy period as everything was fresh and new and exciting. And then after that, we had our terrible twos. And we made some mistakes, and we scraped our knees. And then from there, we became preteens. During that preteens years, we weren't feeling very attractive. And we were trying to figure out, who are we? That was our preteens years. And then, of course, our rebellious teenage years. All of these transitions taught us different lessons that have allowed us to evolve. And I kind of think that that's what all of this is. This is evolving with the market and going with the changes that are occurring in our industry and allowing those opportunities where you guys you're not sitting back and watching, you're in it. You're actually being part of the change. And that's what I hope for within this group. So the day that I started, our CEO pointed to a desk and said, there you go, that's wholesale. And I said, okay, I've got no clients, no team, just me and a computer. And I sat down and I started Googling brokers, state by state. I just started cold calling. And I kept going and going. Oh, by the way, I had one product to sell. FHA down to 500 FICO. That was all I had, one thing. But I just kept calling. The first month, by myself, I brought 10 families home. And I was pretty happy with that. But something, again, shifted in the marketplace. A company called Taylor, Bean & Whitaker went out of business. And when they went out of business, I had more manufactured homes than I knew what to do with. I was okay. I was good with that. But again, I didn't know about that opportunity. It just happened to roll with the changes within the marketplace. So we grew very quickly, became known for manufactured homes. In 2009, I became the first woman partner of our company. And a few weeks ago, I became the first woman president of our company. And for those of you that don't know our company and people that work for me know, it is a very big deal to be the first woman president because the company is a family-owned company and there's never been, having a woman come in there. So it was a very big accomplishment. So I was very happy about that. So Mark mentioned it, and all of you are probably saying, people often ask me, where does that woman get her energy from? I get that question all the time. As a matter of fact, somebody said to me 2 weeks ago, if you're ever going to do a TED Talk, that's the topic. I want to know, how do you always have so much energy? That's actually a really easy question for me. I love what I do. I absolutely love the mortgage business. How many people every day have the pleasure of bringing people home? The first time the door opens and the children run through and the dog is following behind, we control that. We have that power. And that's why I don't need the alarm clock to wake me up, because every day I'm up, and very, very early, as many people that will call me at 5:30, 6 in the morning, I'm at the office, because I have families to bring home. And that's where, sorry for the gentleman in the room, that's where I feel women actually have an advantage. And I'm going to tell you why. Because with women, I can be energetic, I can be passionate, I can be, crazy sometimes. I'm sending out cute little notes and doing fun things and calling people happy birthday and all of that. And people are encouraging me. But men, if you do that, you look vulnerable. There's a difference. So I say that we need to utilize the gifts that we have, because in our industry, it actually ties, what better thing to bring home family than all of us? So I definitely think you have to do that. So, I know, and I'm going off my thing, right, Michael? All right, so as women, we are also good listeners. But sometimes, ladies, we allow negative chatter in our minds that actually talk us out of opportunities. And I am here to say, you have nothing to be afraid of. We are smart, we are strong, we are passionate women that not only can run a business, we can do anything that we make a priority. We can also be caring and supportive, and when I use the word family, it comes across kind of motherly, where maybe in other ways it will not. So I did some research, and I looked up what attributes do they consider makes a strong woman. And this was the consensus. 1, a woman who knows who they really are and what they want in life. A woman that sticks up for themselves. A woman that continually challenges themselves. A woman who knows how to make themselves happy. A woman who stands up for what she believes in that is right and doesn't shy away from what she wants. And since the first step of success is showing up, I can already see we have an entire room of strong women. The AIME's Women Affinity Group has given us an opportunity for all of us to shine. This light will grow as we come together as a group And it's been proven that almost every attribute of your potential, from intelligence to creativity to leadership to personality and engagement, is interconnected with others. To truly thrive, we need to stop trying to be faster alone and work together for bigger potential. Because success can only truly be achieved in a cycle with others. And those are 4 stages of potential. Surround yourself with positive influencers. Cut out negative promoters. 2, expand your power by helping others, by leading from every seat. The more you give, the more you will get back. 3, enhance your resources by becoming a prism of praise. Again, praising others will bring it back to you. And 4, sustain. Take your wins and fuel your efforts so you can build momentum and never stop progressing. While we're speaking about potential, and I wanted to share you with an interesting article that I read in the Harvard Business Review. The question actually was, and this is 100% true, you can Google it, okay? The question was, do you get value in belonging to a women's group or attending a conference, okay? Well, Harvard actually interviewed 2,600 women of different industries just to see if belonging to a women's group or attending conferences actually had a positive outcome. A positive outcome was defined in 2 ways. 1, financial. Increase in pay, a promotion. 2, intellectual outcome by increased optimism, lower stress level, and a feeling of connection. So, for the women who signed up for a conference, but they hadn't actually gone yet, 18% of them received a promotion during the first year, compared to 42% of the women that actually went. In other words, after connecting with your peers at the conferences for women, the likelihood of receiving a promotion doubled. And 15% of the women who attended the conference actually increased their income for one reason or another. They also surveyed the women who attended the conference about their outlook, and 78% of them reported being more optimistic about the future. And after they attended, the most telling fact is 71% of the attendees said they felt more connected to others, and it's proven that connection is the greatest predictor of success and happiness. There is power in connecting, ladies and gentlemen. And if you feel this, bring it back to your teams. Don't just leave, tomorrow at the end of the conference and you're like, I'm all charged up. Oh my God, I learned so much. Bring it back. I'm going to tell you something from a personal standpoint. When I attended the very first AIME conference in Irvine, California, I actually held a company-wide call to actually share with my entire team what was happening here and what I felt, and I needed to share it with them. That's how much of a connection I felt. And I only hope that all of you feel that today and tomorrow and bring it back. So, to wrap it up, my goal is not to just say, oh, we have a women's affinity group. Okay, that's great. Good job. That's wonderful. No. We can't hope that something happens. We have to show the wholesale community that we can come together for a greater mission of building a fellow women up. And this is personal, ladies. We have to do this. So, we will be doing some interviews after. And I really hope some of you, I know some are like, I don't want to go on camera. I don't want to. I promise, she does an amazing job. Everybody will look great. And I promise we will not ask you anything you're not comfortable with. This is fun. This is to show others that couldn't come to Vegas this weekend and experience this. We want to share it. We want them to be able to say, wow, I'm so sad I missed that. I want to go to the next one. I want to be part of this. So we want to definitely include that, okay? So we'll be doing some interviews, all that, and Are we up to Sarah now? Sure. Okay, so thank you very much for allowing me the time to come up today. I really appreciate it. Thank you. All right, and what we're going to do now is Sarah's going to help me out a little bit, and she's going to actually ask a few questions that we want to hear from you guys. This isn't about us just, speaking to you guys. We actually want Sarah to connect a little bit, and she's going to ask a few questions, and then we want to hear you guys speak back so we can get the dialogue going. Okay? You're good?
Uh-huh.
All right. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sarah Arnett, and as Laura said, I'm with AFR. I do manage our financial institution division. However, I work with as many brokers as I do credit unions or banks, and I love you guys. So I appreciate being here. Much like our industry, you sometimes have to anticipate for the unanticipated. Originally, we were a little concerned our speaker was not going to arrive, so we thought we would have a change of circumstance. Y'all can appreciate that. However, she's here. So we won't necessarily do what we had, our plan B. But I did want to just tell you very quickly why I got into the mortgage industry. Back in 2001, I too, like Laura, was a stay-at-home mom. I had a almost 3-year-old and a 4-month-old. And other than now my least favorite husband, because he's my ex, my good one's here in Vegas with me. He somehow came across the mortgage industry because one of our friends owned a mortgage company. He said, "You really should look into this." I said, "Okay," and the guy came and installed an LOS on my computer, and I quoted a rate, and I had no idea what it meant. It was 6.875, by the way. And that first month, I made $9,000 as a stay-at-home mom. What? I made more than my husband. So, it just really was amazing to be able to work from my house, work really the hours that I chose to work, and be there for my kids as they grew, be able to attend. And of course, I do think this industry as a whole is incredibly supportive. We're very family-oriented. I think that it's fantastic that we are able to balance that out. So I just wanted to give the why I'm in that industry. And if there's a little bit of time after, maybe we'll do a couple of the questions we were going to ask the group and have people share. But anyway, I appreciate being a part of this group. Definitely go on Facebook. I think that we'll start to have fun. The person who asked if we're going to talk about how yucky boys are on Facebook, are you here? No? I thought that was hilarious. It was super fantastic. Anyway, y'all have a great time here in Vegas. Please swing by our booth, swing by the hospitality suite, which is sponsored by us and another gold sponsor. But do you want to introduce the speaker? Okay, so.
Go ahead, introduce Crystal.
I apologize, I don't know her background very much, but here is our fabulous woman speaker, Crystal. Thank you, welcome, I'm glad you made it.
Hi everybody, I am so sorry. I actually was stuck on Southwest Syndrome, which unfortunately was mechanical failure, but I'm here, and I'm really, really excited to be here. I caught the tail end of Laura's presentation, and I could not agree more about the importance of joining women's groups, being around other women, because honestly, I am so much more myself when I'm around a lot of other women, and you'll know why, because I have a beauty pageant background. I'm right now I'm going to just switch out this USB, Laura, if that's all right.
Sure.
They always say, make sure to eject it, via software before pulling it out, but I definitely just pulled it out. All right, let's see how this goes. That's not what she said, right? Ladies, Vegas! What we say in Vegas, stays in Vegas, right? Okay, so I am going to just take over this computer. Millennial skills do not fail me now. Okay. Let's see, I may have to in one more time. Oh, that looks like this might be mine. Oh, just kidding. Oh, let's see this. Mike Brandow, the son of Laura Brandow, and our electrical engineer extraordinaire. Would you mind helping me with this? Sure.
So I plugged it in right
See,
here.
one thing I also learned is travel with your child that knows technology. So that way, it's always good, right?
Absolutely.
Another little tidbit of information. See all these lessons I've learned?
Okay, yeah.
Crystal, we're going to take the pressure off.
Perfect. Thank you.
We're going to ask a question while she's getting set up.
Congratulations on that.
You take your
Okay,
time.
while she works on the technological difficulties, what we're going to do is ask a few questions. This is Plan B. Oh, by the way, I do have to brag on those two little kids that crawled all over me while I had people sign their disclosures, etc. One's about to graduate from the University of Alabama, roll tide! The other one's about to graduate from high school, and who knows, maybe she'll get into mortgage lending. That would not be a bad thing. I'd be very proud of her. Okay, so this one I don't think will take, you don't even have to mingle amongst your tables. If anybody wants to share their why story, what got you into this industry? Someone? Come on. Come on, we're not going through. Hi, you want to come up here?
No.
Okay, you can stay there.
I
Yeah.
can talk really loud.
Okay, you
Oh,
got
you
it.
like me?
That's right, Spear. I loved it.
Also, before she speaks, feel free to grab another drink if you'd like.
My background, my education, my college degree was in medical, actually. And I had young kids at home. I don't want to talk too loud on this or I'll
You're good.
sound like I'm yelling. I had young kids at home. My husband at the time was always out of town. So somebody had to be home. I couldn't, be doing the night shift at the hospital and stuff like that. So I had a friend who also worked in medical and said, oh no, we're going to do this mortgage brokerage over here. Do you want to come over? And I'm like, why? And she goes, because you're the smartest person I know. We need you. And that's how I got in.
Wow. Wait, how long ago was that?
That was in 94.
Dang.
94.
That's wonderful. All right, if we have time after, we'll I actually have a second question I'd really like to hear from the group, but it looks like we've got it up and running. Everyone, Crystal Lee.
Thank you.
And as you can see, ladies, what we decided to make the topic today is how to brand yourself. Because we thought this was very important, that as ladies, sometimes we forget how important this is. So we thought it might be a good educational segment to go over. So thank you, Crystal.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. My name's Crystal. I wanted to cover a couple things in my presentation today. I'm going to talk about my background and my experience with branding myself professionally. I will caveat that I am not an expert in the sense that I am the end-all, be-all, know-it-all of this topic. This is something that everybody is continually evolving in. It's a continuous journey, and I will start by being very vulnerable, and like I said, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, so I will be very, very truthful with you about my journey so far. Let me give you a bit of background. I am a girly girl. I started ballet when I was a very young child at 5 years old. I had a tiger mom. Does anyone know what a tiger mom is? Yes? Okay, are any of you tiger moms? Well, it's okay if you are or if you're not. It's just a lifestyle choice, right? It's a decision you make. Parenting is something I haven't experienced yet, but I know it can get very complicated. So my mom, she was a tiger mom. She put me in the ballet at a very young age. And when you take ballet from a young age, you get used to performing and you get used to being in front of people. And I've always enjoyed that. I wanted to be a ballet dancer professionally. I had an injury, however, when I was 16 years old, and that's a really, really crucial time if you want to be a professional dancer. So I decided to hunker down and study real hard for the SAT, and I was very, very lucky to get into Stanford, where I decided to major in biology. So I wanted to go be a doctor. My mom is a tiger mom extraordinaire, so she has done a really good job in, I think, pushing me and my sister to really hope for the best and aspire for the best. But as I'll mention later, it is difficult when you have been programmed your whole life to achieve within very, very specific constraints. And at this time when I was at Stanford, I decided I wanted to work in technology. And I have a photo of me on the right-hand side is with this thing once upon a time called Google Glass. It was really in for all of like 2012. And then Snapchat came up with a competitor, and Google Glass is now something that my grandkids will laugh at. But anyway, after working in technology, I interned for 2 places, at Dropbox and at another local startup. People call Stanford a tech incubator with a football team, and it's kind of true. That's where everyone was working and really trying to kind of get ahead, right, career-wise. So at the tail end of Stanford, when I graduated, I decided I wanted to compete in the Miss America pageant. And just to preface, I had been competing in beauty pageants since I was about 16. And people who do the Miss America program, they hate using the word beauty pageant because they call it a scholarship competition, right? It's like scholarship. It's all about women's empowerment. And that is very true, but as of late, the Miss America pageant has been all over the news for lots of different reasons, and I just call it a beauty pageant because it's, frankly, very important how you look, how you package yourself, because those were the roots of what this organization is all about, right? It was about choosing a beautiful woman who could be outspoken, who could do a lot for the community, and that's something that I really grew up in, and I continue to really owe a lot of my current success and current skills too. After going to Miss America, I was first runner-up at the Miss America pageant. And that was really heartbreaking because you're so close, but at the same time, I have to be careful who I really vent that to because there are thousands of other women who would have wanted to be second runner-up or third runner-up. So I had to really operate from a place of both humility, but also recognizing that there is life beyond pageant, and how do you continue to reinvent yourself so that you can earn a living, because being Miss So-and-so doesn't pay anything, unfortunately, even though it paid off some of my school tuition. So I decided to join forces with a mentor of mine who had been in my life since I was interning in tech companies. So we started a company, and I was one of 2 other co-founders. This was a really, really challenging time in my life because I had no idea what I was doing. We had to set up an LLC, we were incorporating it in Delaware. I didn't know why we were doing it in Delaware, it was just the thing to do. Now I know why we do it in Delaware. But we hired about 13 people. We grew quite quickly in 2 years. We made a safety deposit box for financial advisors. And that's actually how I got connected to Laura, was we have a mutual PR partner, and they were very helpful in getting us into competitions. We ended up winning an award for the AARP. We were the Consumer's Choice winner. And in a nutshell, what LifeSite does is it's essentially an online safety deposit box for really important information. And so you can conditionally share your files with your accountant, your lawyers, your spouse. You can even share Netflix passwords with your kids, all in a blockchain-equipped, secure digital safe. So just a plug, just lifesite.co. When I was fundraising though, I got this comment. And this was the biggest wake-up call that I did not realize how to handle. I was faced with having to somehow reinvent myself because anytime someone Googled me, it was, this chick wore a swimsuit in national TV. And wow, she looks really orange in these pictures. And I was like, seriously, like, so much fake tan, right? Like actually, if you Google my name, that's what you will see. So part of me is like still kind of mortified, but you know, you look healthier. The abs come out when you're a little tanner. So that's why we did it. But I was faced with, okay, how do I professionally convey my value and my competence, despite having done this pageant thing and this beauty thing, right? Which unfortunately, for a lot of people, is incongruous with intelligence. So, you know, I decided to do something about it. And I decided to just talk about it. And I was really outspoken about publishing articles. I was really aggressive about pitching these articles to public publications because I wanted them to be seen. And I thought, I could not be the only one who was finishing my pageant stint, reaching these roadblocks with customers who didn't really want to talk about my product, but more wanted to ask me about what the cattiness was like at Miss America. And there really wasn't that much. You know, side note, that's a tangent, we can talk about it later. But the whole point was I figured out the only way to really own this is to be unabashedly confident about the fact that, yes, I did beauty pageants, and I am not ashamed of it. And if you have a problem with me feeling like I need to hide that in order to increase the chances of you getting your return on your investment, we're not a good fit. But it was really difficult for me to have that moment because I really doubted myself and I didn't know if I was batting way out of my league. Like, should I go model instead, right? And to this day, like this is still something I struggle with, and my way of solving it is to just own it and to reach out to the other women who might have encountered similar challenges, which is people not necessarily equating your appearance with, you know, what your capabilities are. And unfortunately, you know, women can use that as a strength sometimes, because there have definitely been times where I've been on an airplane, even today, for instance, and my bag was really heavy, so I just quivered the knees a little bit in my heels, and someone came running and was like, oh, let me help you with that, young lady. So, you know, I will not lie, there are ways to really have that feminine, beguile, wild, charm thing work. But in the corporate world, it's not necessarily that easy. So now I'm going to transition to the importance of essentially branding yourself and things that I've done that might be able to help you as well. And it really starts with understanding you know, your strengths, like what makes you different. Laura, for instance, has so much amazing energy, and that is one of her strengths. She's got energy, she's got enthusiasm, and her enthusiasm and positivity is contagious. I saw her speaking when I walked in, and I went from, oh, this is like Southwest Syndrome to, oh yeah, a room full of really good-looking, smart, capable, professional women. I found my tribe. This is going to be great. And that's her superpower, and each one of us in here has a superpower that's just as contagious and offers just as much value. The next thing that I found helpful was writing a brand statement. We'll cover some of the sentence structure that you could use so you can plug and play your own adjectives and your own strengths. And then lastly, just some higher level things to think about as you manage your brand. There are 5 areas. It's visibility, your perception, your uniqueness and what makes you authentic, packaging, and relationships. And we'll go over that as well later. Okay, so to think about branding, I'm going to show you a couple of logos. These are all incredibly well-known companies. There isn't a single word even with people, there isn't a single word that you see, but you just recognize them, right? They're really, really well-known, and they are ubiquitous in some way. Now, the thing is personal branding, you don't have to be famous to have a really, really good personal brand. You just have to know who your audience is. And you are the CEOs of your brand. So personal branding, essentially, hi, that's me this side. I thought I would wear my Doge shirt, but I thought that was a little too casual, so I decided to pull out the blazer for y'all today. But I do wear t-shirts a lot of the time because I work very much in tech. But personal branding, this is something that we all can do. Just marketing yourself to other people and not being shy about that. The first thing to consider is that we all have these internal attributes that are unequivocally there, whether or not you know it. And then there are the ones that you for sure know because you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you maybe know that that's a strength of yours or you know that that's a weakness, but your awareness is what makes us different from internal attributes. It's just knowing that that entity and that value and that quality of yours exists. And it's important that you recognize that, because you have to recognize it in order to be able to uplift that. And then you have to manage what other people see, because what you see in yourself isn't always what other people see. So the closer you can bring those ideas together, the better. So you know you've got your brand when how you see yourself and all those positive strengths that you have are what other people see as well. It's important that there is not a ton of dissonance in those areas, because if you're a little less confident but other people see that you're really capable, you're not going to have a really easy time developing a personal brand because you have that insecurity. And this is something that I've worked with for a while. It's just other people, like my fiance, my friends, my mom, she's always like, you're awesome, you're awesome. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, sometimes I'm not awesome. But I have to remind myself that I have to feel awesome, because if I don't feel awesome, but people see that I'm awesome, I'm not allowing my brand to reach its full potential. It's not that you can't have bad days, but in general, it's important to really know that how you perceive yourself is how other people see you, because this is all about marketing, right? It's all about understanding your audience. So if you think you're awesome, but no one knows the quality of your work, right, which is the opposite example I'm giving, then that's not a meaningful personal brand either. And we all know those people who think they're awesome, but other people are, they know that that person talks a big game, or maybe just there's that dissonance there. So we want to go away from that dissonance. Now, let's talk about a brand statement. This is something that all of you can do easily. This is my brand statement. So right now I work in TV production. I decided to step back from LifeSite full-time. I had an opportunity to work on a lifestyle show for my hometown of San Francisco. So I've been doing that. And I'm a passionate TV producer. I'm dedicated to supporting small businesses through video content to tell their story. So this is essentially this is the framework for it, right? I use my X and my X to achieve X. So you can take photos of this, and this can be shared with Laura afterwards as well. Another option is to go with your name is this quality, and this quality, and she is known for blank. And this is a fun thing to do even at the kitchen table with your spouse or your friends, because the more clarity you have over this brand statement about yourself, the more you will know where you are rowing. Because ultimately, we all want to get promoted, we want to make more money, we want to be known, we want more clients. And there's no harm in having that North Star mission statement. Companies have it, people should have it too. So using this sentence structure, this is my brand statement. So I'm outgoing, I'm infinitely curious, and I'm very energetic and I'm active. And I am known for being able to talk to anyone about anything. And that is something that keeps me true to who I am, because this, in my day-to-day role as a TV producer, I have to engage people and get them comfortable to speak on camera. So this is something that keeps me really clear about what I do. And so the third part of my presentation here, we've talked about my story, we've talked about your strengths, talked about brand statements, and lastly, we're all talking about managing. This is an ongoing, evolving commitment that we all should be making on a day-to-day basis. And these are the 5 elements. The first element is perception. And so perception is, we discussed this already, what are people presuming and seeing as your strength? And I do want to bring up that whenever you use social media, for instance, to promote your brand, there's a difference between leadership and self-promotion. There are a lot of self-promoting activities that we see on Facebook. I am inundated with it all the time. But when I'm the right audience and something really speaks to me, and I am following someone like Laura, whose blog posts might really be something I bookmark and I share with girlfriends, that's her leadership, and that's her personal brand really coming through. The next thing is visibility. So when I wrote my articles for Refinery 29 and for CNN, they're op-eds. And by the way, this is something that anyone can do. The biggest secret about getting yourself published is just to spray and pray and email them. That's really it. And people have asked me, oh, Crystal, how did you get published on so-and-so? And I just tell them, I emailed them and asked if they would run it. So this is something we can all do. There are self-publishing platforms, but then there's also the submissions at blank.com. Take advantage of those. If there's something you are noticing in your industry or something you want to say, your perspective is very valuable. And it might not be CNN.com, it might be an industry publication. But that's a huge opportunity for you to really brand yourself. And third is uniqueness. All of us have our superpower. I mentioned earlier, Laura's is her energy and her articulation and her passion for helping women and for growing organizations. Each one of us in here has those strengths in different capacities, and maybe you have your own strengths. Just understand that and really work around bringing that authenticity, because without authenticity, you are going to spin out and you are going to burn out. And you're going to realize, I'm working towards a brand that doesn't quite fit me. And that's why writing your brand statement is so important. You want to get it right so that all of your effort is going towards something that when you have that alignment over the course of your career is going to feel so good, and getting promotions are going to get easier. That's the authenticity piece cannot be understated. And packaging. This is one area, my example is Uncle Sam, right? I mean, you take one look, top hat, white gloves, red, white, blue, big white beard, that's Uncle Sam. And for some of us, maybe it's like Laura's got great hair, she has this pearl necklace, she's always just like on point. That's her brand too. So packaging, all of that really matters because people are visual, and all of y'all are really good looking and well dressed. So I think I'm speaking to the right crowd here in that regard. Has anyone heard of Glossier? It's a makeup brand based out of New York. They're essentially like a millennial, no makeup look makeup brand. And they have this rule where unless your desk has unless it's pink, it can't be on your desk. And that's because as a company, they decided that at all times, they want their offices to be Instagrammable. So unless it's pink, that's right, if you go get a salad and you come upstairs, unless it's a pink salad, you can't really have it on your desk. You have to go to the employee lounge to eat it. But mugs are all pink, office plants are pink. This is like an internal thing, so keep this on the DL because this is not online. But I've got girlfriends who work at Glossier and they say, yeah, Emily, our CEO, she says, unless it's pink, can't have it on your desk. Because if we have investors, if we have people visiting, we have customers walking through, it's gotta be beautiful. It has to be pink and it has to be fresh. So, if companies like that are thinking next level packaging, what does our desk say about ourselves? Right? Someone at any given point could be stopping by en route to the water cooler, jump by your desk. What does your desk say about you? It's sending a signal. Then that's a part of your personal brand. Body language is also a big part of this. Low power poses, high power poses. This one gets a little iffy for me personally because I find crossing my arms really comfortable, especially when you're in a middle seat on Southwest. But when you're in a meeting, for instance, mimic whoever is in the power position. Maybe it's the person leading or your boss. Give that a shot and see if you're noticing that conversations flow more easily. And lastly, it's all about relationships. And I want to congratulate you for being here at the Women's Affinity Group event before AIME on your Friday night, spending time with other capable, amazing women, because this is the best thing you could be doing for your career, is just networking, meeting like-minded women, and together we can all help each other. And that's pretty much about it. So if you have any other questions, please email me. You can do it.
I just want to add one thing. So a couple months ago, I guess it was a couple months ago, we spoke, right? So a couple months ago, I reached out to Crystal and I said, I want to get to know you before you actually come to our event. And we wound up speaking on the phone for about 3 hours, okay, on a Friday night.
Which is not unusual for you, Laura. You are such an amazing communicator.
So one thing that she said to me that I don't know about any of you if you'll feel this way, but I know I did. She said to me, Laura, should I not mention the beauty pageant thing? That reaction, that was my reaction. I went, oh, that's terrible. I said, why in the world would the fact that you did beauty pageants be a negative to any of us women in this room? It's not. I said, what if you were the quarterback of the football team? Would you say to that person, I don't want you to mention you were the quarterback? Absolutely not. So I just want to commend Crystal that telling her story of, she's a young lady, of course, and she's got a long career ahead of her, but just her story, and we actually joked. I mean, I'm going back to the 90s again, but I actually shared a story with her that when I first was coming up in my career, I felt I needed to dress and look a certain way, just like she said, because I thought I'm never going to progress my career if I don't fit the bill. Well, at that time, I was wearing wool suits with shoulder pads. Actually, that picture, I was wearing that suit. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? But it wasn't until probably the last 10 years, I said, why do I need to wear a business suit with wool, right? I don't need to do that. So we actually spoke about, she mentioned that she wouldn't wear makeup when she worked at Google. Because all the young gentlemen, it was frowned upon that if you wore, a nice outfit like what she's wearing.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. So going back, ladies, again, this is your group. This is all for you. The purpose of this was to connect everyone, and please join the Facebook group like Lisa mentioned. Tell Lisa, what do you want to get out of this? Because it's only going to grow and do something if all of you tell us. And I promise you, I'll be there to support her. I'll be here to support you guys. I'm very passionate about, I know I'm a lender. I'm also a woman. I'm also a woman in the mortgage business that is very, very passionate about helping fellow women. And I said to one lady in the room, I'm also at the point in my career that I'm looking at the generation behind me. And I really want to watch people, the generation as we're watching this new group come in. I'm so excited for you guys. I mean, there's so much opportunity and there's so much out there. And I feel that I'm kind of at the point that I want to help that next generation as you guys are moving along. All right, so I hope everybody had some fun. I hope you were inspired and kind of energized. And I really appreciate, like Crystal said, coming out on this Friday evening. I know there's other things to do, and I appreciate that. Anybody that does want to tell their story and kind of help us out with some videos, I would love to have you share. Okay? So thank you so much, and please feel free.